Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. This is part two, or this is part three. In part two, I said to make the joint like that. Then I started thinking about it when I was going to contour to make the joint tighter. I really think you'd be better off to do it with both males on one end and the females on the other end. So to do this, you have to just take your virtual segment delete key and swipe through there. And this is actually a little bit easier. So disregard the male and females on each end. And let's change our nudge factor back to about 10. And let's take these two joints, smart fill them, and go here. Well, 10 doesn't go very far. So there's the difference. But we need to contour and the male parts to fit in there equally or better. So I would do this first, and don't do what I said in the first video. And because we've nudged, I'm going to keep nudging and I'm going to show you how I would contour it. Now, we don't want to mess up this, the width of this, because if we contour, we'll mess that up. So let's just take a box. I'm going to draw a box with a 2-point line. Okay. And I'm going to make a new object right there. And then I am going to delete the old object. I can actually get rid of my lines. Now I'm going to left click. I'm going to right click in black because I'm going to contour in red. So I'm going to go to Effects, Contour. I'm going to contour to the outside 0.003 with square corners in red. And if you look at the difference, that could be the difference of your curve. Now what we need to do is take this item and break the contour apart. Go up to Object, break contour apart. Since we did the outside, the black should move that away and this is going to move this way. Now we're going to be a little bit off here. And that, maybe there's a way around that. But what I would do is just take your shape tool and just put that node right there. It may be going to have a little bit of air gap in that, but I promise you that your joint is going to be tight. And then all we have to do is take the virtual segment delete key and delete this line. And please use the smart fill tool on that. Nudge it out of the way. Smart fill tool on that, nudge it out of the way. I'm going to go past and I'm going to go left and right click in red. I'm going to take the other one and left click, no fill, and right click in red. Now I'm going to move them over. And that little bit of, you can barely see it, where the male is thicker than the female. So that should give you a good, strong joint. And of course, I would, even doing this, before you go any further than the other ones, I would draw you a rectangle and I would, okay, I got a little bit of a leak there because of the two, there's two lines on top of each other. I would take the smart fill tool and do that. Move your rectangle to the other one. I do contouring a lot for something like this. I would test out those two pieces. Doesn't cost you much wood, and then you'll know you're right. So in your first joint, I would test your pieces, make sure they're hairlines, which they are, and test those two pieces to see if they, when I do it a lot of times, I actually have to tap them together with a hammer to get them to fit down in there. And if they feel really tight, put a little glue on there, just a little bit of wood glue, and let it sit there and dry, and then it'll be as strong as an original piece of wood, as far as turning it left and right. So really disregard this in theory was a pretty good idea, but I forgot about contouring. to make it really tight. And it doesn't have to be that tight. If you go with that and you lay them out and measure them and use a pin nailer or double-sided tape to tape it down to your wood, and I would use a pin nailer, just 2 pin nails on each piece, pulls out of the wood good, can't even see the nail hole, especially, what kind of finish you put on it, a little bit of sanding, and measure it out. And the loose joint isn't gonna really matter if you got them pin nailed, because it can't move. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.